Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the first lesson with the plan for the instructions. So now it's our turn to start actually writing our instructions. So first of all, what I've done is I've written the date. This is today's date, but your date might be different depending on when you start doing this learning. So I've got Friday the 24th of April. And then I've left a line to make it really neat, and I've written my title, which is Instructions. Then I'm going to look back at my plan to remind myself what the title of my instructions is going to be. So remember I said the title is How to Trap a Group of Skimpums. Now your title will be different to mine because hopefully you've come up with your own mythical creature, your own woodland creature that you are going to try and trap. So mine is the Skimpums, remember. So I've got my title, How to Trap a Group of Skimpums. And you can see I've left a line or two as well just to make it really, really neat. So now I'm ready to start doing my problem, which is the introduction to my instructions. Over here I've got my plan, remember, that I need to use. So I've got my question, can you remember it? My question that I planned was, are you kept awake at night by the sound of skimpums rustling in the grass, ? So now I'm going to try and write that down. Hopefully you've come up with another idea. You might have even used some different adjectives. So I'm going to leave a line underneath my title. I'm going to start right by the edge. I'm going to start my sentence with a capital letter. So my sentence is, are, finger space, you kept. Now I wonder if you can tell me which type of punctuation I need to have at the end of this sentence. If you guessed a ? Then you are correct. This is my question that I've started off with. My next question that I wrote, if I look back at my plan, I said, are you searching for a mischievous skimpum? So I'm going to start my next question, remembering if I've got a ? Or any type of punctuation like that at the end of my sentence, then I need to start with a capital letter. So my next sentence is, are. Now, hold on, I might actually just read and check that it makes sense. Are you kept awake at night by the sound of skimpums rustling in the grass? ? Are you searching for a mischievous skimpum ? I think that makes sense, so I'll carry on. Here's my plan. So if so, now this picture was don't despair, . Now, can you remember how we used that apostrophe for the contraction word? So before, that word was do not, and I've used an apostrophe to show that we have replaced that letter O. Here's my next sentence. I'm going to look back at my plan. Read these instructions, and there's my conjunction to make my sentence longer. Read these instructions, and you will be able to capture your uncontrollable, fire-breathing skimpum. . Now I put an exclamation mark at the end of my sentence just to make it a little bit more exciting. If you're finding it hard to sound out some of these words, just have a go, and you can always go back and try and check your learning at the end. So now we're ready to move on to our equipment. If I look over here at my plan, here's my equipment and here's my list of things. So I'm going to leave a line so it looks really neat. Here is my subtitle. There it is. And then underneath that, I'm going to write my list of all of the things that I need so that I can create my trap. First of all, I started with a magical spade. So I've got my comma after my first item, a magical spade, comma, a fireproof sheet, comma, some leaves and sticks, and some golden eggs, full stop. Now I'm ready to move on to my instructions. So I'm ready to do my instructions. Here is my subtitle. And I'm going to start underneath, and I'm remembering that I'm using numbers for my instructions. So I'm going to write number 1 and usually put a little dot next to it. Now I can see on my plan that it says first, comma, use your spade to dig a deep pit, full stop. Now your instructions might be different to mine, and that's okay, so I'm just showing you an example and yours will hopefully be different. See, I thought that my adjective deep was good, but I knew that I could come up with a better one, so I've added the word enormous. So now my sentence says, first, comma, use your magical spade to dig an enormous deep pit, full stop. Now I'm ready for number 2. Now when we do instructions, we don't carry on writing next to the sentence like we normally would if it was a story. We actually have to go on to the next line. So I'm going to write number 2 underneath here. Now if I check back at my plan, I can remind myself what I need to write. Don't forget your full stop at the end. Now I'm ready for number 3. I'm going to go on the line underneath again. I'm going to check my plan, and this time the time connective that I used is after that, comma. Now I'm thinking that I might try and be a little bit braver with my writing now, and I might try and use an adverb. Now, an adverb is a word that describes how we do something. So remember I used the word carefully before, but that's not until number 4. But this time I think I'm going to change my plan. Can you see I've edited my plan and I've added in an adverb. After that, comma, gently scatter on the leaves and sticks. So it is totally covered, full stop. So now I'm ready for number 4. If I look back, I used the time adverb then, comma, and this time I did use the word care. Now I'm on to my last instruction. I'll just check my plan. Finally, comma, the Skimpums won't be able to resist the temptation and will end up falling into the pit or the trap, full stop. Now you can see here I've used some different types of apostrophes. I've got an apostrophe here for another contraction word. I wonder if you can guess what this word was before it was squashed together. So it should be won't, but before it was will not. Finally, comma, the skimpums won't be able to resist the temptation and will fall into the trap, exclamation mark. And my warning was, don't enter a skimpum's house because it can be dangerous.